Maldives is facing a wave of cancellations of trips by Indians after a series of comments from the island nation targeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi for his visit to Lakshadweep. The tweet, which came shortly after Prime Minister Modi's visit to the island of Lakshadweep, accused India of targeting the Maldives and suggesting that India was unable to compete with the Maldives in terms of beach tourism. The social media post has sparked outrage amongst Indian citizens, many of whom took to various platforms to even express their discontent. Many Indians have also reportedly cancelled their vacation plans to the Maldives as a part of this agitation. Ease My Trip became the first major tour operator to exclude the destination from its portal by disabling users from selecting any packages related to Maldives. In fact, Yogesh Gupta, former ambassador, is joining us on the broadcast to talk more about this. Sir, appreciate you speaking with us. The first question is, the tensions between India and Maldives have been escalating. What do you make of it, and what will be the repercussions now?
Well, Maldives is our close neighbor, and India has historically been very kind to Maldives. When in 1988 there was a coup attempt over there, some mercenaries had landed. No other country had helped Maldives except India. India rushed its armed forces and restored order and stability. Similarly, subsequently, when they had difficulties, they were short of drinking water, they were short of vaccines. Even before we provided vaccines to our own people, we sent vaccines to the people of Maldives. So India has a record of helping Maldives. We do not understand why there is suddenly this anti-Indian sentiment, which is sort of being voiced by some of the official people in the government, some of the ministers and so on. And they must remember that India is the next door neighbor. China is far away. If there is a problem tomorrow, then India is in a position to respond immediately. And we have no particular axe to grind. We just have some few military people, few people from our military, basically to help them in maintenance of small aircraft which India had supplied them. These aircraft are used for ferrying people for medical purposes or for humanitarian purposes and so on. So we have, unlike China, we are not exploiting Maldives by our debt trap diplomacy, or we are not sort of taking any minerals out of Maldives, or we have not made it a target of any exploitation. So we really do not understand why the ministers of Maldives government are behaving in this manner, and we hope that before long they will change their attitudes. Otherwise, it can impact on the bilateral relations.
And Ambassador Gupta, when we talk about anti-India sentiment, who is to gain? Is it China, which is stepping up its influence in the Indian Ocean? Where do you see this going?
Well, China has been playing this game for a very long time. China has always been has treated India as an adversary for a very, very long time. And whenever it gets an opportunity, whether it is Pakistan or it is Bangladesh or it is Maldives or any other country, China is always trying to contain or reduce India's influence. So that is nothing new. China may gain, but it may not help Maldives very much, because China's diplomacy, China's policy in regard to these other countries is mainly exploitative. You look at Sri Lanka, what they have done, they give them billions of dollars of loans. Now, Sri Lanka has not benefited from those loans. They have established airports, they have established ports. There is hardly any traffic at the airport. There is hardly any ships coming to the port. So all those are white elephants, Or Chinese have been bribing the local politicians over there. So they should understand that China may talk big, China may make all kinds of promises, but when it comes to fulfilling those promises, and the manner China gives its aid, which is mainly through projects, which are sort of manned by its own people, everything comes from China, China's assistance is very different from that of India. So they will soon realize that China is only an exploiting country.
And so you talked about Sri Lanka, the port there, and President Muizu is in Beijing. Do you think that China will try to elevate its economic interest in the Maldives now? Is it an opportunity for them?
China may promise them more loans, or it may promise them more projects. But the important thing to understand is that China's loans are mainly used for establishing new projects. And those new projects, they largely benefit China because China sends its own experts, it sends its own equipment, its own materials, even labor goes from China. So the involvement of the local government is marginal in those projects. So China may give them more loans. And the behavior of Chinese tourists in many countries has been very, very objectionable. They are very overbearing and they are very abusive of the local people and so on. So it is up to Maldives to think whether it wants to have the Chinese tourists and it wants to have the Chinese projects. As far as India is concerned, well, we will definitely take into account China's activities there. It should not harm our security concerns because Maldives is next door. And if it does, then that will be something worrisome, that will be something objectionable. And then India will have to consider how to respond.
Right, sir. And the very last, Lakshadweep being an archipelago of 32 kilometers, is it actually Lakshadweep versus Maldives now? Is that the real issue at hand?
No, I won't put it that way. I think we should develop Lakshadweep in any case. We should develop Lakshadweep independent of Maldives. We should. Prime Minister has gone to Lakshadweep. He has highlighted the importance of Lakshadweep, and we must develop it as a first-class tourist destination. But it should not be Lakshadweep versus Maldives. I mean, Maldives is too small. It's just a GDP of $5 billion, just a few people. So India doesn't have to compete with Maldives, But we should develop Lakshadweep in its own right as an important tourist destination.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.